Sup everyone, this is Karak from ACG, the Bearded Shaman of Game, and bringing you game reviews at the speed of embargo, or if the company doesn't want to, at the speed of release. And one of those titles is today's recipient of a review from a retroactive release, the always asked for on everyone's remaster, remake, or revisit list. That's right, Ghostbusters, a game no one really knew they wanted, and once they got it, well, we still don't really know if we want it. This time Activision said, hey, you know what, let's go the gauntlet route, throwing 1 to 4 players into their version of a fast-paced action game, but you're not even the real McCoys here, you're sort of the B team, which is somewhat like what happened with Multiplicity. If you make a copy of a copy, someone is going to try to shave their tongue. So let's see how all this worked out, shall we? As always, if you like the review, maybe subscribe. So here's the review for Ghostbusters for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Geometry Wars, the Sleepy Time Edition, the second coolest place you're going to find Doom Skulls, and Body Slamming Ghosts because, well, suddenly, now they can be hurt by that. Graphics are up first. You know, I have to say it doesn't look that bad with a large amount of colored lighting, special effects, explosions, particles, and if there's one thing, it's that the Ghostbusters game, when it's sitting still, looks pretty good. Though at the same time, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows, because goddamn is the game slow. And it's not just slow in frame rate, which I'm going to discuss in a second, but in overall gameplay implementation, with enough molasses shoved down the character's drawers to slow up a friggin' freight train. The elf is about to die. Slowly. Now, that being said, characterization's good, and the characters themselves each have a unique look and feel that's different from the others. And the world, which has gone with a very similar look in ways to the old Saturday morning cartoon, also has an appearance that I actually like. Now, the one thing is, they may not be afraid of no ghost, but the game does appear at times to be afraid of high numbers. Whether in the overland map or the cutscenes, everything out of the main gameplay feels like it's running at 15 frames per second, and guess what it is? It's running at less than 10. Triple buffering on or off, VSync on or off the SATA front to gaming is a bug that causes the main part of this game, when you're not actually shooting shit, to be less than 10 frames per second. Now, once playing, it does smooth out a bit, but a GTX 1080 at 1440p seeing constant drops below 60 is not something we want to be accustomed to. Most likely, it is a bug, but a game about ghostly exterminators being brought low by this kind of bug is almost hilariously apt. Altogether, I'd say very, very hit and miss. 1 part awesome location and atmosphere, 1 part frame rate that's scary enough for its own horror movie. Sound, music, and voice.
We not only saw a ghost, we fought a ghost.
We not only fought a ghost, we caught a ghost.
We not only... I'm tapped.
And boom, changing it up, sounds first. Ignoring the fact that the absolutely tepid pace in which the characters go about investigating hauntings is most likely one of the reasons why nothing really crowds together, it's excellent. The fact is, the sound effects for guns, ghosts, grenades, they all sound good. They have a good overall separation, and other than a couple times, do a great job of steering clear of one another during the gameplay, and I have to say, I was surprised consistently with the sound. And that brings us to music. Aside from the main track by Ray Parker Jr., or as I like to call him, Lando Calrissian Light, and a couple others from the movie, the music here is fairly solid, but still overly safe. It's just a series of generic-sounding tracks, some eerie whistling loops, and the stuff you'd expect that folk would aim for during scary movie festivals. Now, I don't know if a lot more of that is from the movie. If so, not too impressed there either. Pretty average. Voice. It's good. Let's be honest, these characters are trying to explain the impact of fat content in food versus fighting off ghosts, so it's not Shakespeare, it's not even 50 Cent. But in the end, it's pretty good, and while corny as hell, the corniness is on purpose, not on accident, which is something most games can't get right, regardless of how many times they try it. Gameplay. This is ultra simple. You and up to 3 friends run through various areas, shooting ghosts, trapping them, using terribly basic button tap events, and moving the story forward. There's just not much going on here. Now, sometimes you get experience for taking out ghosts, but the upgrades are atypical, and even when you upgrade your speed, maxing it out, the end is that they all still look like they're shuffling their way to a fucking book reading versus fighting off demons of the night. It's a twin-stick shooter without the speed, and due to the constant weapon overloading and reloading needed, it's one with a great deal of the fun removed. It's like they all thought, hey, how can we remove some fun? Let's put a button in it that makes it less fun. That sounds awesome. Now, in this genre, there are a number of ways to keep action from becoming impossible to navigate. Constantly reloading the way a Rambo movie would look if it were real is not that fun. I mean, besides, the fact that everyone's gun does it in the same fashion and overall at the same general speed and, well, needs it in the first place is a complete buzzkill. Now, that being said, it's not all bad. The enemy variety is pretty good, and though the game is short, it's often introducing new enemies and new locations, or old ones and new ones, or some sort of that mix. It's not horrible, but the opposite of not horrible is not great, and yeah, that fits here. Fun factor. It's pretty boring, to be honest, and while the multiplayer is there and works, the game's so slow you might as well invite all your friends over for a goddamn nap. It was boring in less than 1 hour and never really grew up from there. This is a game that could have been enjoyable. Real puzzles, enjoyable characters, less slow encounters, more quick ones, and no useless reloading cooling mechanic would have done wonders here. You know, it may have paid off prior to the massive contributions to improvement we've seen of others in this genre in the last couple years. But for now it feels slow, dated, and more like a pretty face trying to fool you than an actual full-on game worth $40. Speaking of $40, we're at the rating time. I rate games on a buy, wait for a sale, rent, or in case of a PC game, deep sale, and never touch it rating scale. This is wait for a sale. At about half price, I think this game might be worth it. Right now it's 40 at 20. You know what? I could jump in, maybe take some melatonin and have some friends over, eat some turkey, and just go to sleep while playing. But in the end, right now, I can't really see it being worth more than that. Now, the reason why I don't rate it as a deep sale is because in the end, there is a lot going on in this title, and maybe the slow, more sedate gameplay may pay off for, let's say, children or something like that. And that means that it's still there for somebody, and there's still an audience. It's just not for me and not my audience. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys liked the review. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. As always, check out the Patreon, check out the Twitter, check out Reddit, check out whatever you can. And of course, continue here with ACG for reviews that actually, rate the entire game. Peace out.